So I want to hand over to a couple of people from the Lausanne movement. The first person is Newman. And again, forgive me, I'm going to have to read this out from my paper to make sure that I get your title right, Lars. Lars has been the Lausanne International Deputy Director for the Caribbean, and he's just been appointed the Lausanne Associate Director for Global Affairs. And we are really pleased that you are able to come and be with us this evening. So, over to you, Lars. Let's give Lars a round of applause.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm grateful for the opportunity to say a few words at the launch of this very important book, Creation, Care and the Gospel, Rethinking the Mission of the Church. When I arrived at Ethelburga this morning, coming from Jamaica, the immigration officer said to me, "What's the purpose of your visit to the UK?" And I said, "I'm here to attend a book launch this evening in central London." He said, "What's the book about?" I said, "It's about the environment and climate change." He says, "So what are we going to do about it? Is there anything we can do?" And so while he was looking at my passport and so on, I said, "There are lots we can do, and you can't give my little lecture." Stamp my passport and said, "Welcome." As we have heard, this book is the result of an international consultation that was held in Jamaica in 2012, which I had the privilege of hosting in my home country. In fact, the germination of that consultation began way back in 2006, when right here in London, I listened to an address given by the Reverend Dave Bookless. You may have forgotten that. But he was speaking at a function at which the main speaker was Sir John Hall, who was co-chair of the Nobel Peace Prize-winning Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC Scientific Assessment Working Group. Of course, he was Professor Emeritus in Atmospheric Physics at Oxford, and was also at one time the Chief Executive at the UK Med Office. So I was very pleased to be listening to both Sir John and Dave Bookless. And what they spoke about certainly had an impact on me. It was so important that the following year, 2007, I invited Sir John to speak in Canada at the 60th anniversary of the International Fellowship of Evangelical Students meeting at their World Assembly in Hamilton, Ontario. Sir John's message to the student leaders from 150 nations made its mark, and we followed that up with an international conference for postgraduate students from a variety of disciplines, as well as theologians and creation care advocates, including Reverend Ed Brown and Professor Cal Wick, on the subject of faith and the environment. This was held in Jamaica in 2008. The response from these events were encouraging. We felt that we were being challenged to take the message of environmental justice and creation care to a broader field and help mobilize the church and the younger generation towards greater awareness of the risks and challenges posed by global warming and climate change. And then came the announcement of the third Congress, the Lausanne movement, to be held in Cape Town, South Africa, in October 2010. Well, 4,000 leaders representing 198 countries attended that historic conference. I was invited to be part of the organizing committee. And Dr. Chris Wright, our guest speaker this evening, was leader of the Theology Working Group and the Congress Statement Committee. So we're most grateful to Chris for his support and decisiveness in the inclusion of our workshop findings in that seminal document of the Congress Cape Town Committee. Of course, we'll hear more about that later. Ed Brown, of course, led our workshop in Cape Town, and It was a very significant event. Right after the event, we had a press conference, and the first reporter stood up and announced his name. He said, "I'm from the London Times, and I'd like to ask all of you a question. Isn't it hypocritical," he said, "for you to bring 4,000 leaders from across the world to South Africa to talk about climate change?" And I was on the panel at the time, and I fortunately had a presence of mind to say, you know, it would be hypocritical if we weren't doing something about it. And she said, "Well, what are you doing?" And so we were able to tell them of the various things that we in the network have been doing around the world to tackle this major issue. I gave Chris, I gave the Global Church a wonderful platform of action in this brilliant document that calls for, quote, urgent and prophetic ecological action in the face of our moral responsibility as stewards of God's creation. Global warming and climate change are among the most serious and urgent challenges facing the world community. Of course, since then, on June 18, 2015, Pope Francis also courageously pronounced the second encyclical, Laudato Si, "Praise be to you on the care of our common home." This was a landmark document for the Church in the world. Just ahead of Pope Francis' maiden and historic visit to the United States last summer, in which he again spoke strongly about the degradation of the environment and the human impact that happens cause climate change. Just before Pope's visit to the United States, the President Obama, one of 12 leaders of faith communities in the United States across numerous religions, in the ceremony at the White House, recognizing their environmental leadership on climate change. These leaders have been known to teach and encourage faith communities to change their ways and to realize how their lifestyles affect the environment. I should have told the President that our own Ed Brown should have been included as one of those leaders. I wish to thank Ed for his leadership on this issue in the globally evangelical community and in the Lausanne movement. He has been remarkable by solid leadership over the past few years. As senior associate now with a new title called Catalyst in the Lausanne movement, he has taken the message to Asia, to Africa, to Latin America, the Caribbean, and beyond. It has been a remarkable journey of faith in action so far. I also wish to thank Dave Bookless for his remarkable leadership and collaboration in this endeavor. He's a real good partner to Ed. So I want to thank you, Dave. It's been wonderful to know you, and you've had your inmaker at this consultation. Your contribution was outstanding. Dave has been a model for us all. I also wish to thank Colin Bell for a superb job in the book. Colin, where are you? There he is. I was going to ask you to stand up, but you're already standing up. We really should give Colin that. Let's give him a round of applause. Of course, we thank Professor Bob White for his contribution to ensuring this publication has seen the light of day. Their time has been wonderful, but thank you, Professor White, and Colin and the team. And thank Julia Cameron also for her editorial and publishing expertise. See Martin Hudson here from the John Ray Initiative. And I want to thank Martin and his wife Margot for their support and their encouragement in this network. Their book, Cherishing the Earth, How to Care for God's Creation, has been a source of inspiration to me and to many others. This book is being launched at a time when unprecedented global concern and consensus on the impact of global warming and climate change is being expressed at all levels. Nearly a decade ago, climate skeptics and climate deniers existed in abundance. With the extraordinary impacts of extreme weather events happening around us on all continents, there can be no doubt that climate has changed. is changing and continues to change at a rapid rate, impacting the earth, the habitat in which we live. We have not only to take note, but to take action to mitigate and adapt and restore creation in ways that enhance human life. We must all do something to adapt to climate change. And the message that we bring is that members of faith communities have a great deal to share in this endeavor. And I close with a statement from Karen Newman, who is Senior Policy Analyst at Citizens for Public Justice in the United States. And just before the summit in Paris last November, she wrote an article in the Huffington Post on the climate justice as a matter of faith. And I just conclude with a quote from this article. The engagement of faith communities in the work of climate justice is important as it brings added dimension, both moral and spiritual, to an issue once considered to be the purview of environmental science alone. As institutions of faith, churches have significant resources at their disposal. These include practical action, such as greening initiatives, political engagement, role of advocacy, as well as spiritual endeavors built around prayer that are available to people from all walks of life. For many, prayer serves as a gateway to action. As faithful citizens, Christians, Muslims, Jews, Buddhists, Hindus, and others respond to the pains of the earth and the cries of those most marginalized by living into a calling to love and care for the earth, and make choices that support a flourishing creation, and to press their governments to do the same. Let's all get on board, and let's affirm the Jamaica statement, which you all have a copy of, out of the consultation that was held in 2012, which is the basis of the book belonging to me. And let's give thanks to God for the opportunity to do something about this creation.